I was born in a very traditional family in Baswangudi, Bangalore, and I haven't moved much far away from there, 3 kilometers from there. So it was a household where there was freedom and there was education. They were very strict about not wasting time. At the same time, we were free to choose what we wanted to do. So, and there was no putting people down because, you know, I never felt I couldn't do something because I was a girl. And I had a mother and grandmother who always encouraged me. I lost my father very early. So two women brought me up in an amazing manner that I was educated with music. I had initial lessons in painting, which I didn't do much with. And then I had dance, which has been very close to my heart and continues to be so. And then there was school formal education. I was a good student in school, always never went to class if I didn't get the first rank to receive my marks card. I had this complex that I had to get the first rank all the time. And that is the way I was. And not too good in sports, but because I was a good student, I also happened to become the extra person in sports. So this is my basic background. This education and training and nurturing, and there was a lot of storytelling at home. My grandmother would tell stories, and we grew up. I can't remember a day when there was no storytelling in the house. And shlokas were taught, and there was a lot of celebration of festivals, and there was nothing missing in life. And of course, there came a time when I did well in my pre-university, and I wanted to go into engineering. I was the first. No woman in my family had done engineering before. They had done dancing, they had done music. And we had a law as a background, and people would have appreciated it if I took up law. But I said, no, I want to do engineering. Why? Because when I was in 7th standard, I saw this Vishweshwaraya museum, which is in Bangalore. I was fascinated. I said, I'm going to be there. I had another input. I wanted to be a dancer, you know, national level artist. But my teacher, dance teacher, was very poor. And he was struggling, and he had become so bitter because his struggles were too much for survival, and he was brilliant. I could see his brilliance even when I was in high school. And at 9th standard, I secretly made up my mind that I don't want to be like that. I want to be happy, but I will become a patron of the arts. This is what I decided. And then I was a good student because whatever I did, I would do well. This was general idea. And then I got a merit seat. In those days, only 2 colleges were there, BMS Engineering and UVC. First, I got it out of Bangalore. Second list, I got it in Bangalore. And I went into engineering. And my dance teacher told me, you are not stepping into class if you take up engineering. But I didn't listen to him. I went back to dance class, got scolded by him day in, day out. And I became suddenly overnight 3rd grade student in dance class. But engineering was my lifeline. Then I did electronics, and then I did my GATE, got a score, and then did ME, communication engineering, electrical and communications engineering. And in the meanwhile, I was in love. I had met the man of my life, and we were very like-minded people, Vidya Shankar, and we decided to get married. Didn't take parents' permission up until that point. We made a decision. And then declared to everybody, yeah, we're getting married. Nobody had problems. They were relieved, I must say, that this girl, you know, getting married, so on and so forth. His parents are also relieved. And then he went to the US to do his masters. And I was doing my masters in Bangalore. We got married, and then I went to the US. And couldn't stay less in life, had to do my masters because that's the way it was. You know, you set your goals in 7th standard saying, I want to become an engineer, I want to head a company. And then I did computer networking. This is what I did in my masters. I did a thesis masters. I also had a child by then, my firstborn, Prakriti. And we managed. We never had a babysitter because my growing up values were there, and I was like, okay, now I have more than what my mother had, now I have to give more. Well, this life circus was going on. Then I finished my masters, had my second child, and then at a point of time I started thinking, what am I going to give these children? I have vocational training. I have masters in computer networking. I can get a job. My husband will go to work, I will go to work, we will all be in some company doing a lot of work. And still, it was a thought process, and I said, I don't know life. I don't know anything to teach my children. I really went through, I remember the year 1993 when I was almost going through depression, saying, I don't know. I am not equipped to deal with life. Two beautiful children in front of me. I have nothing to give them. I have all these degrees. And that was the starting point of Dhatu. And 10 years later, 1994, where am I? I missed. Correct. Correct. 93. Not even 10 years later. 2 years later, 95. I started Dhatu as a concept, but we hadn't formally registered it because I was very afraid that I was going out of everything I had thought of, planned in life, and all of this because I saw life. And then we were not very rich. I mean, people will think, okay, she has so much money, she can. No, I didn't even think. I said, okay, I'll adjust. I'll have less. I'll do with what is there, but I need to live strong. And I was working at that time as an engineer, and then I was also, then I stopped, I started working in our own company because they needed my support. After that, slowly, I took up dance. I hadn't stopped dance in the middle. I had changed from Kaushik master to Narmada auntie because my master passed away. And with her, I was still training. And then I took up choreography. I took up a project where I did for the government of Karnataka on Independence Day, Bharati Devi and Nene, remembering Mother India. There I interacted with children. After that I did another Pavanasutam Bhajeham on Sundarakanda. These two interactions with children were very shocking because I realized they don't know what they're doing. There's no understanding of work the way we understood as children. For me as a dancer, as a 9-year-old dancing, when my teacher told me something, I knew to respond. And I said, this is not good. And then I was afraid my own children, those thoughts were already there, that I wasn't equipped to give them what life demands. And then I said, not just my children, there are other children in this world who also need this. And then we started Navaratra as a focus point where holiday time, dolls are fun, and through dolls we tell stories about how do you give life values to children. Discovered that epics have hidden in them stories which are beautiful. You learn it, for life it will take care of you. As you grow, the story grows with you, and these are just tools. You know how you do mathematical tables? I realize Ramayana and Mahabharata are like tables of life. You keep those, learn those mathematical tables, 10th standard you will get 100, at 50 years you pass life with with a glow and a smile. So I said, we have to give this vocational training. I also have, but in addition I had my mother's coaching of life. So started during Navaratra. First few years of quizzing was very bad because we had prizes, nobody would to take it because nobody knew the answers, they didn't understand anything. Then I said, can't do it in a corner, we have to make it big. And we opened it to the whole city. The press has been very, very helpful because I didn't have all this knowledge to take it out. Somebody who came from there said, let's open it to the city, and they assured me it was all right. That was not enough. I said, movement of dolls, and now a formal classroom has to start where they will learn in a fun manner. And having lived close to Disneyland, that has been my, that's a wow thing for me. I've always admired their work. I said, we need to have puppetry. And that's when my quest for puppetry started. I hadn't seen a puppet show, honestly, other than some vague memory of maybe 4th standard when I saw a shadow puppet show. I didn't even know Karnataka had puppetry, and then I went looking and looking and looking and finally found Ranganathan sir, from whom I learnt with lot of twists and turns because I was a woman again, and Karnataka traditional puppetry is not done by women, and I didn't care. See, I didn't have identity that developed. Even though I was a mother of 3 kids, when I went to the work field, I was a person. I didn't even exist, to be very honest. To me, the puppetry had to be done, the class had to be, it was just the work which existed, and I was just incidental. If somebody else did it, I would have been happy watching it. So I learned from him, and I will show you the first puppets I made, and that has a story too. My whole life has stories anyway. So, and this is how puppetry came into being. Puppetry was supposed to be the sugar coating on the pill for a value education class. Then I realized how beautiful it is. Then I realized we've had such a history of puppetry in the state. And I started reading up, I started traveling, I started seeing and looking for puppets and couldn't find any. But I found broken parts, I found costumes, I have some pictures of Mysore Museum. That fascinated me. Those are big puppets. The puppets I told you termites ate up. I made a replica of that and lost it. Then I applied for a fellowship with the central government, a senior fellowship, because I realized that was a slightly different style of puppets with legs, tradition of Karnataka. So coming back to this point, what is tradition? Not me, because I said I am traditional. To me, I am traditional. But everybody else says, if I put legs, it's not tradition. Is that true or is that not? And it was very uncomfortable that I am doing work with no legs. And that was a major issue for me, because I thought a whole dimension. See, what happens is, you will see when I play it, the movement is only this much. You cannot go this way. So the dimension became, it was like 2D. Movement was, if I choreograph it on stage, it would be like a 2D movement. And the variety to present stories was not enough for me. Now I have to get strength. See, the strength comes with knowledge. If I have to accept or deny something, I have to first learn. So I said, what is the oldest text we have in theatre in Karnataka? Natya Shastra, not in Karnataka, in India. I said, now it's time for me to become a student of Natya Shastra. Dr. Shatavdani Ganesh incidentally was going to announce his classes in Natya Shastra. And for 3 years, lessons went on. I have attended 70% of the classes because I have been busy with productions and performances. But I read and I understood that, yes, that is the basis of movement, of costuming, of expressions, of colors. Everything we do in puppetry today is mentioned there. So then I dared to put legs to the puppets, much against the... Didn't ask for permission because I know I wouldn't have got permission. Here comes the conflict between... Then they said, oh, she's doing all new things and she's spoiling the whole art field, and this is not what it is. At that time, it was really ridiculous because I traveled enough trying to find a teacher, find puppets, see puppets. I said, spoiling what? What exists today is, if I want to connect, see, if I want to be true to the tradition, there is nothing which tells me this is tradition and why. Ours is not a culture where you just, somebody says and you accept. No, we have to question and we have to understand why something is traditional or something is not. Yeah, so we are back to the Cloud King now. And his arms being fitted, one knot there. So we try to keep most of the knots behind for repair. So his legs can move. Yes. Hands can move. He can look hither, thither, everywhere. But he needs finishing. We need to next look at painting. These are all our trade secrets I'm giving you. They'll say, oh, this is wood, put a wood primer. Wood primer works, but this works better. Sandpapering is, see, tools, sandpaper, no becoming lazy and all of this. Actually, yeah. And then I shall start with the Puppeteer primer. And after this dries up, also we'll have to sandpaper, which I will show you. It gives me a smooth surface to paint. You can use a wood primer also, and if there are also termite, to some extent it will prevent. But my most useful part of this is that it gives me a surface to paint. Painting becomes easy. And if there are crevices which I have missed, but the disadvantage is if it is a too big a hole, it will break also. So minor things it will take it, but finish is good. I can get a good finish from this. To begin with, as a puppeteer, it was very difficult for me when it was almost getting insulted, asking for sound and light in theatre. I remember why we did a festival, a national level festival, and I went and asked for a big theatre because I think big, I cannot, and if you don't have a vision, you cannot do any work. And I was asked saying, oh, why do you need a stage? Can't you do under a tree? And why do you need lighting? Can't you do? Those things are there. And even today, if I go to a theatre, puppet lighting is done in a window. Nobody understands. Very few understands. There are people today, yesterday we had a good program where they understood and gave us good lighting. But this understanding is not there. That what is the requirement of this art form? We take 2 truckloads of material sometimes. We want to do a grand show, but there is no support system available from even the organizers. So sometimes we don't even ask for, some people cannot afford to pay us even our basic cost price. We still perform, even though we have reduced that now, initially like 5 years ago. But still there is no the appreciation of the show comes, but an understanding of the requirement of what an artist needs to put up this show is not there. Maybe because the numbers are not there who are doing this. And also, see, it's a lot of time. My friends Chitra and Maithili, they dedicate a lot of time. And our families are also supporting us by, I have absented myself from house, literally, even though I'm in the same building, for about a week now because I was busy making a puppet, rendering a show. That adjustment even the family has to make. I'm very blessed that I have an understanding surrounding like this. But if society can appreciate and an organizer can appreciate when they provide or invite us for a show, or even the government, if they can see art for itself, that would be very promising. So basically we have done carpenter's work, now we are doing painter's job. And finally, yesterday we showed a character Bhikshu. Finally when we do the show, that is what we have, passing the hat. I did a course in parallel processing. Of course, 486 was still in the classroom when I studied. So I do different parallel processing now, and managerial skills of course are required for an artist. Without that, so honorary MBA is also there. Only thing is, it's a not successful MBA. So what happens is, for me, I'm thinking, am I not capable of venturing into the monetary aspects of this theatre? I have the ideas, but if I go there, one person cannot do all the jobs. And if I go there, it dries me up. I cannot be creative. I can be calculative, and once you go into that mode, creativity dies. And like I told you, this is a lot of work, as you've been seeing, and this is after, what you've seen is after I've procured the material. Even that needs a design, it needs time, it needs energy, and it needs you to work. And it's a one-man show because we don't have a one-woman show. I have friends who will come and who are part of the team, but I have to do this basic work. And then I have to think of the show, do the music, and it is a lot of creative work. And if that is not done properly, the show won't be good. If I do this and I live in this atmosphere, I can do this. If I get into the world outside, which is very different for me, I cannot do this work. So I made a choice. I said, it's all right. I will remain here and do this, whatever happens, happens. So to that extent, there is an abandonment and there is no return expectation. Why am I doing this? What do I want out of this? Somebody asked me, you're doing so much work. If you die tomorrow, it'll all go waste. I say, well, it won't be wasted because the purpose is served in itself. I cannot say whether this material will go far again 10 years down the lane. Somebody will pick it up, maybe, may not be. Will it be destroyed? I don't know. So this is a reality check of life. But despite all this, there is energy in this. Knowing all this, knowing that physically I have to be very strong. Mentally, I need to be extremely sharp and my creative skills have to be very fine-tuned. If one of the three fails, I cannot do this. That means if I go into depression or whatever society does, the other side of this is you don't go into depression. It makes you so happy that that's a perk we have, you know. We are happy with silly jokes and a cup of coffee makes life okay. It can happen, well, that's the end of the day. Or gives us so much strength that we will be able to handle it with a smile, and that is life. So back to being happy about the Cloud King now. You know, people have done namaskaras to us, they have given us flying kisses and hugs, and they have cried, and puppets have been garlanded. Not once has an audience said any one bad thing, and that keeps us going. See, this is the dilemma, because it's 100% positive feedback. Like I told you, we are like up in the clouds. We don't hear what Monday. People will say, "Oh, Papa, she studied engineering and now she's got a theatre company, nomadic company. She puts everything, she loads in the truck and goes everywhere." People will say, you know, those don't matter, because it is in the perspective of the general public. I myself tell I came from power seat to begging bowl. So seat of power, as far as the life measurements go. My measurements, yardsticks are different, but general yardstick, if you say, I will also say, correct, I came from power seat to begging bowl and striving. Those things just don't matter. I can talk about our shows authoritatively because I have never asked anybody about their financial expenditure. The cost involved is wood procurement. You saw all the material involved. Generally to make, and then the costuming and the jewelry, whatever, when I put everything, it comes to roughly around 3,000 to 5,000 rupees cost price, labor not included, because we do all the labor. So if I hire somebody to do this job, my puppet cost per puppet is going to go 7,000 to 10,000 rupees. I have tried. Now, in a production, I would need about, say, 30 puppets. And my music goes from 90,000 to 1 lakh. So if this is my, and then there is the people who will come, the lights, then the sound, and you know, to do in a production. And then if I even sell tickets, we can sell, you saw sometimes the range of audience, the halls which are available for puppetry will go from 100 to 300. The hall rental is 6,000 rupees, and then ticket prices, they take 10% over that, service charges, whatever. And when money is given to us in a ticketed show at 100 rupees a ticket, I can barely pay transportation and maybe auto rickshaw money for my players. So the financially, we have to go to larger audiences if we ticket it. Like in the movies, you know the cost, or I keep one production and make it for 25 years, and with the interest rate, then I can balance out or make. So profit comes if there is payment coming for our shows. And maybe we have a mistake too, that we are not good at bargaining. We do not ask. I dream of the day when I can put my foot down and say, we are worth this, please pay us, we will come and do. It may happen, I don't know, but I'm thinking on those lines. And at that point of time, profitability will come. And profitability has to come. In my case, this is not my bread. But at least sustenance I have achieved because I work so much. I sue myself. I do not even, I work 24 hours, almost sometimes. And that way I can sustain. And art is like that. The person who's really impressed me is Suresh Datta in Calcutta. He sits under a freeway and he's made the most beautiful puppets. And he's elderly, but his work, his passion, and the way he holds on to it, even at this age, is very admirable. I got inspired by him, and he's told me that 100 puppets can go into a show. You don't worry about the number of puppets. You just do what you want to do. That freedom I got from him. Another, of course, my own teacher, who has held puppetry for such a long time. In his own way, he has contributed to the field. And then I have my dance teacher, Narmada Aunty, who was visually partially impaired and didn't have a very comfortable life. And I would ask her, do you have regrets of that you became a dance teacher? She was a very good teacher in Karnataka. She's got national awards. She's no more. She told me, she said, don't you dare talk to me like this. She said, it doesn't matter to me what you think about it, but what happiness it has given me is my life. I cannot be without it. So, such lives have inspired me a lot. See, in Bangalore, it is good in the sense of audience. We have the perfect, we could not have asked for anybody better, any place better, because it is a place which wants to learn. People are, this population wants to learn, and they're exposed and they're not prejudiced. So we live in an environment where we can experiment and we can do work and we can get gratification of work. But the other than us is somebody working similarly. I've just started a class hoping, I'm looking at the next 15 years. At the end of 15 years, we should have at least 12 puppeteers coming out of Dhatu who are better than me. And that would satisfy me, because I say, okay, now whatever I did has gone. And no hold. They do what they want to do, they drop it, they take it. Enthusiasm is not much. I guess we haven't publicized enough also. It's just started. We started in January. And if the class puts out a couple of productions, maybe then we will get more students. There is always an inquiry of wanting to learn, but the commitment is lacking. And that is why we put out upfront that if you're not committed for 6 years, you don't have to be coming, because it will be a waste of your time and mine. Fees is very nominal. We are charging 500 rupees a month. 1 hour on Saturday, 1 hour on Sunday, 2 hours a week. Another thing in Bangalore which can possibly happen, which I'm looking at, is to introduce a diploma in colleges in puppetry. I've come out with a syllabus. So if I succeed in this, and that would open up the scene. As of now, not much is happening in this direction, but it can happen. The city has potential to pick up.